Welcome to Quick Bytes, the lunchtime live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is Google Keep. It is an official app of the Google Suite, and it is also available on the mobile platform, so iOS and Android, and it is fantastic on both the desktop and mobile version. They really are both very good. Similar to the Google Classroom mobile app and desktop version, they're almost a one-to-one. There's very little you can't do on one versus the other. I find Google Keep to be the same. What you do on the mobile app translates over, and you have pretty much full functionality as you would from the desktop application. So I'm on the desktop application today, and we'll talk about that. But just know that you can find this in your app store, install it on your phone or tablet, and function there just as you would from here. So this is an app that's available from the app launcher. If you scroll down, you'll see right here, it looks like the light bulb icon on a yellow background or a gold background called Keep. And it's very similar to Evernote. If you are someone who has used Evernote in the past and you're a Google person, you're going to love to know that Google Keep pretty much does what you can do in Evernote. There may be a few little things that are off here or there, but for the most part, you can make an easy transition over to Google Keep if you are an Evernote user. So that's kind of the what's out there that's similar competitor software. So a little bit of an orientation on the left-hand side. You have your menu over here, notes, any notes that have a reminder or a time date involved with them. It can show up as a reminder, and it will kind of alert you that you have something that is time sensitive. You can create labels, just like you can in Gmail. You see I have 3 labels out here, one for my ACES Tech Council that I go to. I take notes while I'm there. I'll put them all in here, and I can quickly filter by that view. I had some very old ones in here that I just recently removed, but you can filter quickly and show just the notes on that label. And here's my NEPUG meetings for Power School, as well as any summer plans that I might have. I take notes while I'm working with the curriculum office and talking about that. So those are your labels. You can also edit your labels and create new labels right through here. So it's very easy to do, and it's very similar to Gmail. And we come back out to all notes. I can also archive notes, and you can see there's some in there. Probably just trial stuff that I was working on in the past, and there is also a trash so that you can kind of throw things out, and then you could always just recover them if you need be, or delete them forever. So when we take a look at the dashboard here, you can see that I have one pinned note, and this is something that you can do as you hover over the notes. You'll see there's a little push pin, very similar to what you would find in Google Meet. They're using the same material design here, and you've got that push pin that you've seen in Google Meet to pin that view of that person and make it priority. I've done the same, and I've used it for this one. And the reason I've pinned this one is not necessarily for my dashboard view here, because it does pin it to the top and it does prioritize it, and all of my other notes kind of get pushed to the bottom. But really it's more for Google, and you can see that if I come over to Google, excuse me, it's really for Gmail. I said it's for Google. This is really for Gmail, because when I come over here, I now have that bar out in the right-hand side here that allows me to show my notes right here at the top. And at the top, I've got this clear browser cache in Chrome. If we go back up over to Keep, that's the one that's pinned to the top. And the reason I have this pinned to the top is because as I'm sending emails, I want to be able to access this link really quickly. And this is one that I often send out to people, so I pinned it right to the top. And it's how to clear browser cache in Chrome, or cache in Chrome. And I just literally copy the link, right-click, copy, and I paste it into the email, because as you may have seen in one of my other video sessions, is that clearing your browser cache is one of the quickest and easiest ways you can correct things. in a Chrome environment. So I find myself sending this out as a kind of quick first line of defense. What can you do to fix the problem? I copy and paste this link a lot. So I pin it to the top so that I can quickly find it in Gmail, use it, and deploy it. So that's really why I have that one pinned. You may use pinning for other reasons, but just know that that's what it's there for, and this is how I have chosen to use it. Before we go into the actual note-taking process, I will show you up in the upper right-hand corner. You can refresh your view. You can also do a list view if you'd prefer that. And it kind of aligns everything in almost like a stream-like interface. And I could also go back to the grid view, so you do have that options. Under settings, I do have settings here. Add new items to the bottom, move checked items to the bottom. Display rich link previews. You can kind of see that in the background here. And then you have your morning, afternoon, and evening reminder default. So when you get reminders on certain notes, that's when they're going to come through. So if you'd rather have your morning reminder at 8:30 versus 8 a.m., you change it here. And then you can also enable note sharing or collaboration. And also under settings, you do have enable dark theme, and you can turn it over to this, and it makes dark mode, which is nice because it's a little easier on the eyes as you're going through your day. And then there's a few other things. There's the app downloads to get the mobile app. You got keyboard shortcuts for this if you're into that, your help, and your send feedback. So those are the options that you have for settings. For notes that I already have created, if you hover over them, you'll see there's a link here. So this is that rich link preview, and I could actually click to launch that link. But I also have Remind Me. And if I want to set a reminder for this, I can pick one of my preset defaults, or I've got, pick an actual specific date and time. I could do that as well, and it will pop up. Here's the little plus person to add the collaborator. If I want to share this note with someone else and we want to have joint note taking, we could do that. Maybe a student is working on a project with someone else, and this is the place where they can actually take notes together. Now, some of you are probably asking, well, can't we just do that in Google Docs? Yeah, absolutely, you could do that in Google Docs. This is just another platform that allows you to do other things, and I'll show you some of that in a minute. But this is one place where you could collaborate with someone else. You could change the color of this note if you want to make it stand out a little bit more above some of your other notes. You can do that. You can also add images. You can archive this, and then you've got the three dots, which always means more. Click on that, and we can delete the note. You can add a label to it. So if we want to address this to one of the three labels that I have, or maybe make a new label, we could do that. I could also add a drawing, and this is one of those features that you can't do in Google Docs. So it's to insert this freehand drawing. And if you've ever used the Chrome Canvas app on a Chromebook that can be converted into a tablet mode, this is really pretty much that application. It allows you to kind of freehand draw. You've got the highlighter tool, you've got the marker tool, you've got the pen tool, you obviously have the eraser tool. You can make selections of your stuff here, but then a couple other neat things that you have is you can insert squares, you can do dots, you can do rules, or you can have none. So it gives you that little background element if you're going to be graphing or drawing something design-wise. You have these other tools that might actually help you with your note-taking. So that's inserting a drawing, and you can obviously minimize this or shrink it or make it full screen. You can even export this as an image, or you delete it. So that is the insert image functionality into a note. It is really pretty cool, and it is something that separates itself out from all other applications like Google Docs. And let me go ahead and back, and there you go. So now it's attached an image to this note. But that's my note that I like to keep, so I'm going to keep that one without the image. But that's the image. So another neat little trick of the Google note-taking tool, Google Keep, something that is only available here that might sway you to use this platform for note-taking and collaboration as opposed to doing that in Google Docs. The way to take a note, you'll see it front and center at the top here. It says take a note. And initially, when you click in that take a note, it kind of expands out, lets you put in a title, and I'll go with demo note, and then I'm going to take a note. These notes are for demo purposes. Now, this is just a regular kind of text entry note. You may have seen where I could include, or you see it down here, I have checkboxes. I can actually change this or show checkboxes, and it becomes a list item drop down. So if you're going to draft a meeting agenda, this might be where you put your agenda items. And you can see that as I click down, it adds it as a checkbox. And then what happens is as I take care of these things and I complete them, I can check them and it puts a strike through. So it becomes a workflow almost. If you're developing a plan of action for something, this is a great way to do that. You could also see right through here as I'm working on this note, I have the ability to set up a reminder, add a collaborator, change the color, add an image, I can archive it. And then I do also get a few other options here. I can add a label, the drawing, I can make a copy of this if I want to duplicate this. I can uncheck all items and reset that. I can hide checkboxes and it takes that away. So I've got a lot of flexibility here. And the very last thing I'll bring your attention to at the bottom is this copy to Google Docs. A really neat feature that if you've got a note that you've taken here and now you want to bring it into the Google Drive world, you can simply click copy to Google Docs and it will copy that into a document which I can open directly from here. And there's my note. So if I'm at a meeting and I'm taking notes pretty quickly in the note-taking tool called Google Keep, and then later on I kind of go through and I refine it, clean it up, I can then bring it into the Google Docs world and create a Google Doc from that, and now I can curate this in Google Drive. So this might be the place where you start working and then you kind of move on to Google Docs later on after you're done with these notes. And that's really it. That's all there is to it. You can see the new note has been pushed down here, demo note. I can pin that if I'd like and bring it up top. Again, I can change the color if I'd like and make it stand out. So there's a lot of variability. There's a lot of unique uses for Google Keep. It looks like I've got a question. Could you record that as a whiteboard? Yeah, you know, there's a lot of unique uses out there for some of these Google platforms. And by all means, absolutely. You got Google Keep and you want to use your mouse and you want to draw something or freehand sketch it, you could absolutely use this as kind of a virtual whiteboard space that you could then record with something like Screencastify. You know, we've got other tools out there like Cami that would let you do this. Canvas, if you do have a Chromebook, it can go in tablet mode. You can do it there as well. But yeah, by all means, you could get creative with this. You know, there's some Google tools out there that have some very creative uses, and yes, this would be one of them. And yes, you could save your finished work and then send it to the kids. So by all means, that's a great question, a great out-of-the-box use, just some creative thinking that you could find, you know, Google Keep useful for. So that's the Google Keep tool. I encourage you to take a look at it, put it on a mobile device. It's a great way to kind of take quick notes if you're kind of out and about and you don't have a full laptop computer with you. You can just go ahead and take quick notes. The other thing to consider from your mobile device is that you have the voice to text feature. So if you have the Google keyboard or the microphone available to you on your keyboard on your mobile device while you're out and about, you could actually talk to your mobile device and it would record it via text what you're saying. So you're basically using voice typing to take your notes. So another quick way to kind of take notes on the fly. And then you could come back into the desktop version here and send it to Google Doc if you wanted. So that looks like no more questions. That is the end of our session for today. The Google Keep tool, really nice tool that allows for collaboration and quick note taking, but does give you some nice ability to organize, collaborate, share your notes, and it also includes that neat little drawing tool. So check it out when you get a chance. Thanks.